thinking, first of all, you see the team sheet and you think, whoa, this is a strong Man United team. But then, when they start, you think, yeah, this is going to go Man United's way. But there's just some sort of a slight lack of confidence, I think, because it's not like they're not creating chances.
No.
You know, the goalkeeper's made some great saves, and they are creating. But I think it's just a little confidence crisis that they've got. You know, and I heard somebody on the radio. I think it was Simon Jordan actually, and he was saying it, and I've got the same feeling. And you're thinking like somewhere soon someone's going to get a right thumping from Man United because they are creating chances.
Yeah, it ended up 1-1 yesterday. Here's Manchester United's goal. But Darren, how worrying is this for Rangnick, but also the Manchester United fans, that they are leading in games and not seeing it through?
Very, because their objective is the Champions League, and at the moment they're not making it. They had 3 games in hand on 4th place West Ham, and after those 3 games, the level on games played with West Ham, they are still behind West Ham, and they have far more firepower. West Ham have 1 striker. The fans are concerned about the depth in their squad going into the second half of the season, and yet, as you started off the show by saying, West Ham have got an opportunity today to cement their position in the top 4. If I give you some numbers as well, 3rd time in a row that they've taken the lead and failed to win. 5th time that's happened under Rangnick, 9th time that that's happened this season. And I think if you look at the United side, well, let me take you through a few papers. Because, well, okay, what we'll do, we'll look at this first, because, I mean, this is the goal that pegged them back in the match. Che Adams found it far too easy to get in behind that back line. And David, you will have seen on a number of occasions and been in situations like this where you take the lead. Listen, goodness me, you played for a club where the mantra was 1-0 to the Arsenal. Yeah. You knew how to see games out. What's the problem there?
Well, like what I said about confidence, and what's happening as well is people are getting pulled out of position. You know, I saw Harry Maguire getting pulled right out of position on one attack, and just left. You know, they were left exposed at the back. You know, I think the pressure builds. They know that once they've scored, that's not the end of the game. Whereas we knew it was, you know, 90% end of the game. You know, because we could defend the lead. At the moment, it just looks like Man United can't. But like I say, I still find it hard to understand why, because they've got the players, but they're not firing on all cylinders.
Well, let me give you maybe a couple of suggestions as to why, because if I take you through the papers, the Daily Mirror, Rangnick tells his players they've got to be more nasty. Maybe they were not aggressive enough. Look at the headline there. Stop being saints is Simon Mullock's piece on the back page of the Sunday Mirror. But even more scathing, the back page of the Sun, Shirkers is the headline. Paul Scholes in his analysis of the team. Now, Scholes knows how to win. Look at the subdeck there. Flops don't want to put a shift in. And underneath that, Luke Shaw, speaking well as he always does, stop the rot, or we can forget about the Champions League. But it's what Paul Scholes has said that's really struck a nerve. And what he said is either they are not listening to what he's saying, or they don't want to do what he is saying. Which of the two, for you, would it be?
Well, I would hope it's none of them, because, you know, when you get to that sort of situation where you're not doing it for your manager, then there's only one way, you know. And I think, but one of the other things is that air of uncertainty, because they don't know whether he's going to be the manager or not. Yeah. You know, they would imagine that somebody else is going to be coming in. So then I would imagine that upsets the players a little bit. But you watch Man United when they lose the ball, and you watch Man City when they lose the ball, and there's an absolute massive chasm of difference. You know, the attitude the attitude really needs to change at Man United.
Yeah, and I agree. Listen, I agree with you. I think when you look at Rangnick, he comes in, there's a clarity about his thinking, his approach, but it seems, again, they are top players at Manchester United, but I think they're indulged a lot. I actually think that the club missed an opportunity to bring in Conte, who, and for my money, I wonder if that's a little bit because he manages up as well as down. You only have to look at what he said at Spurs about the recruitment, about the questions he's asking of the club. He's in a position to do that. He's won more on his own than Spurs have won in the last 30 years. So he's in a position to say, I know how to win, but do you as a club know how to win? Have you got the right tools in place to win. And I wonder if he'd have gone to United and maybe got stuck into the culture of complacency that there is at United to see if they are prepared to ask those tough questions of themselves.
Does it seem that, because when Rangnick came in, Darren, he kind of suggested that he might suggest that he stays on for another year in his role when he kind of moves upstairs in the summer. Is that gone now? Will it be a different manager next season?
I think it has to be a different manager next season because at United, they've set the bar high in the Premier League era in terms of winning matters, nothing else does. Now, has that gone? Are you focusing now on commercial success? Or do you want to get back to the top? Because Jonathan Northcroft points out in the Sunday Times today, spent over it's £1.3 billion in the last 10 years, and they still have a collection of players, not a team.
Yeah.
And they've got to address that. There it is, same old story for sloppy United. And he says, look, Rangnick was brought in to bring control, but he hasn't done that. What we're seeing still now is a United side that's easy to play against. They play for 45 minutes, they play for an hour, but they always give the opposition a chance, no matter who it is. And that, if you are the manager, has to be a problem, and surely can't see you keep the job long term.
No, exactly. And you look at the goalkeepers' saves league. De Gea's at the top of it.
Yeah.
That tells you everything you need to know. You know that your defence is not as tight as what it should be. You know, normally it's always the goalkeepers that are down at the bottom that are getting more to do, but De Gea's at the top.
Yeah.
There was an interesting quote from Ralph Hasenhüttl after the game, all right? So his Southampton side got the 1-1 draw. He said, it's not a big secret when they lose the ball, they being Manchester United, their reverse gears are not the best from everybody, okay? Now, if you're playing for whoever, let's say you're playing for Arsenal, and an opposition manager points out your team's weaknesses, whatever they may be, how much, in that Manchester United dressing room, are you thinking, how can he see that and maybe we can't?
But I find that hard to believe that Rangnick wouldn't have addressed that anyway. You know, I think that's more of an attitude of the players on the pitch than what it is in training, because they will be made to work and they'll have certain ways of playing, and it's always the same. As soon as you lose that ball, you've got to work your socks off to get it back. You look at Man City, you know, as soon as they lose the ball, there's always 3 or 4 of them around trying to get the ball back, and it's almost like a given. And I don't understand why we're not seeing that on a match day with Man United.
And that's a really good point, because Man City are a good comparison because they too are top players. It's not as if you're talking about a lesser side with less accomplished players. You're talking about sides with comparable levels of ability, technique, A-list, if you like, celebrity status. Yeah. But they're not afraid to do the dirty work, the hard work. I think as Paul Scholes is right, when you look at United, they've got fantastic players, but do they want to put in that graft? Do they track back? Do they make sure, as your sides did, that once they go in front, that is it. We're going to shut up shop. We're going to make it difficult. We're going to get in players' faces and make it hard for them to even believe that they can get back into the game.
But that's the thing now. Other players and other teams still feel that they're in the game, even though Man United go ahead.
Which it never used to be the case, did it? If you go back not even that long ago. But it was a positive for Manchester United. Jadon Sancho, he scored and got rave reviews for his performance. So we're starting to see the best out of him, because if we are, then Manchester United will be a better side. Oh,
definitely. You know, and I was like waiting on him putting in performances like this. You know, he takes his goal well. It's a little bit of a scuff finish and gets a little deflection, but it's in.
Had to be in the right place, I suppose.
Exactly. You know, and it's in the goal. You know, that's exactly what he needed, his first Premier League goal. And you know, it's great to see him getting his confidence back, because when I've seen him, that's exactly what it looks like. He looks like a player that's got so much talent, but his confidence wasn't as high as what it was before.
It's a blow in terms of their top 4 hopes, Darren, but it's certainly not the end of them. They are 5th, and they are on the same amount of points as West Ham.
I don't know. I mean, I want to say yes, because we need a strong Man United in this country. We know what they're like at their best. They're fabulous to watch. We need that competition at the top. But I think when you look at the start of this run of fixtures just before Christmas, lots of people felt when Rangnick took over, this was a really good run of fixtures for them to bank up some points and even put pressure on the top three, let alone the top four. And they've shown in this run that they just don't have the consistency to be able to do that. The teams around them have better defences. Wolves have got a better defence than Manchester United. And I think very often, if you look at Ronaldo, for example, I think he's on a 6-game run without scoring. It's his worst run in 11 years. Players' form has deserted. There are individual players whose form has deserted them in the Manchester United side. I won't say team, I'll say side, because I don't think they're enough of a team as yet. And that's the reason why I don't think they'll finish in the top four.
Right.